In 2023, I made a video ranking every single mission from I Expect You to Die 1 and 2. Back then, my avatar looked like this, I spoke really fast, and my opinions were different.
Seat of Power is a really cool level. The highlight of I Expect You to Die 1 for me. Seat of Power is a really cool level.
So today, I'm going to be remaking that video, ranking every single mission from I Expect You to Die 1, including DLCs, I Expect You to Die 2, I Expect You to Die 3, and even the spin-off mission Home Sweet Home, bringing us to a total of 20 missions to rank. At the end of the video, I'll also be ranking each individual game. Without wasting any more time, let's get into the video. In my original video, I said that there were no bad missions in I Expect You to Die, apart from one. One mission that stands out like a sore thumb to the rest, and the only mission that I would either remove or change completely. And that mission is Death Engine from I Expect You to Die 1. Now, this may come as a shock to a lot of you considering it is the final mission of I Expect You to Die 1, but I feel like that is a lot of the reason as to why this mission disappointed me so much. Now, in any of these games, the final mission is the culmination of everything you have done in the game so far. So expectedly, you go into the mission with high hopes, sometimes unreasonably high hopes. And this mission, in my opinion, fails to deliver as a finale of the original game. Now, before I criticize this mission too much, I did want to get into the positives. First of all, the environment. Now, the environment in this mission is incredible, probably one of the best environments in the entire series. It is just unmatched loading into that mission for the first time, especially on an Oculus Quest 1 when the graphics were very limited, and seeing Earth down through the window for the first time, just an incredible experience. Also, having Solaris as a handler stand-in was definitely a very creative choice, and she is quite fun to interact with. Unfortunately, that is about where the positives end for this mission, so let's talk about some of the negatives, starting with the puzzles. In my opinion, the puzzles in this mission are very lackluster, and for a game built around puzzles, you do not want your puzzles to be lackluster, especially in the final mission for a game. The puzzles in this mission are hard, but that's not actually the reason I dislike them. Of course the puzzles are going to be hard, it's the final mission of the game. The reason I dislike the puzzles is because they're designed in a way that doesn't make you feel satisfaction once you complete the puzzles. In every other mission in any other game, when you complete a puzzle you always feel like a genius, and the puzzles are designed this way. With this game, the puzzles are kind of illogical, and once you complete them, it's mostly about trial and error. In particular, the gravity shifting puzzle and the auxiliary plug-in puzzle were very difficult for me on my first playthrough. I got stuck on them for ages, and when I finally figured them out, I did not go, aha, but I went, oh. On top of this, the auxiliary controls are very janky in VR. Trying to catch the box being thrown at you is very hard, and if you miss, you're dead and you have to restart the mission. This caused me a lot of problems during my speedruns and even my first playthrough. Obviously, there is a bypass if you fire out the crystal, but the arm is the intended method. Now, that being said, this mission isn't all bad. The ending is actually really good. It ends on a cliffhanger and sets up I Expect You to Die 2 really nicely, but unfortunately, I do not think it saves the mission, hence why it is in 20th. Coming in at number 19 is the spin-off Home Sweet Home. Now obviously it's not really fair to put this thing on the list as it is just a glorified tech demo, but since it is on the list, it's going in number 19. That's not to say that this mission is bad. It does have some clever puzzles, and I do like the mixed reality elements, but I think it is important to note that I played this on the MetaQuest 2, not the MetaQuest Pro, 3, or 3S. Now if I had played on those headsets, would my experience have changed? Probably not. All it does is add color to the game and does not change the gameplay in any meaningful way. Now this mission is extremely easy. I mean, that is a given that it's a tech demo, but there are not many ways to die at all, and all the ways you can die are very easily avoidable. Again, completely understandable given that it's a tech demo. I did like the mixed reality elements, having things pop out of the wall, come up from the ground, and like it's very creatively done. But apart from that, this mission, there's not really much to talk about given that it is just a tech demo. It's good at what it does, but it doesn't stand out to me as a good mission. At number 18, we have Safe and Sound from I Expect You to Die 2. What can I say that hasn't already been said? This mission is just short, simply put. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the speech. Very masterfully done. Wil Wheaton gives an incredible performance, and the animators do a great job setting him up as the main antagonist of the game. Now, that being said, the puzzles in this game are very easy, and the level as a whole is very, very short. especially since you can skip the speech in all future playthroughs. Again, not much to talk about in this level. It is a mediocre level, but it could have been better if the puzzles were focused on a little bit more. And it is important to note that this mission is mostly set up for Rising Phoenix, and again, it is good at what it does, but it doesn't stand out as its own individual mission, unfortunately. At number 17, we have Not a Drill from I Expect You to Die 3, our first entry from the new game, and you can kind of see why Not a Drill is this low. I think a lot of people do agree that Not a Drill is the weakest in I Expect You to Die 3. Again, not too much to talk about this mission because it is just extremely mediocre. It's not great, it's not terrible, it's just somewhere in between. The souvenirs and achievements in this level are actually really good, but I think that's the best element of the level. The starting puzzle is creative, but from there it gets a bit repetitive, and that final battle with the robot is cool and it sets up some important story elements later down the line, but in the end of the day, it's quite a forgettable encounter for a forgettable mission. At number 16, I have Seed of Power from I Expect You to Die 1. What on earth was I thinking putting this at number 6 in my original video? Now, don't get me wrong, the combination lock puzzle is pretty good, but all the other puzzles, while clever, are kind of forgettable. The highlights of this mission are definitely the combination lock puzzle and the escape sequence at the end with the blowtorch, and this mission does mostly exist to set up Death Engine, but considering Death Engine is the worst mission in the game, Seed of Power kind of loses a few points for that. I cannot stress enough how much my opinion has changed between the two videos. It is drastic. Credit where credit's due, this is the only mission in the entire series to prominently feature Hive Mind, so that's a huge W. Now, at number 15, I have Kaboom, the finale for I Expect You to Die 3, and this level it's inoffensive. It's not terrible. Again, it's not great, but it is pretty good. This is where we start getting into the better missions, but man, these finales have been pretty lackluster so far. The puzzles are cool, but it mostly boils down to blacksmith, 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 and the blacksmithing is a cool mechanic, but when it makes up half of the puzzles in the mission, it can get a bit repetitive. Now, like I said before, the fact that this is the final mission in the game means that your expectations are at an all-time high, meaning that this level might be this low because of that. Now, like I said, from here on out we are getting into the good missions, so this mission isn't bad. It's pretty good, it's just a bit flawed in my opinion, but if you were to tell me that this is your favorite mission in the entire series, I could see where you're coming from. This mission is pretty damn good, but there are just better missions in the future, which is why we're moving on to number 14. At number 14 is I Expect You to Die 3's Cold Shoulder. Now, this level mostly exists to set up Kaboom, but I do think it's a little better. I think the puzzles are quite a bit better, and the mission is focused on mostly taking down the robots. Now, I do admit the puzzle at the beginning is absolutely diabolical, probably the hardest puzzle in the entire series, but I kind of like it. It's really challenging, it puts you to the test, but it's challenging in a way that makes you feel like a genius once you've solved it, something that Death Engine fails to do time and time again. Now again, the puzzles in this level are good, taking down all the robots is great, and that final scene with all the robots surrounding you is absolutely masterclass. That cutscene at the end really makes you feel for Roxanne, gives you a lot of sympathy for her, but apart from that, this level is a bit forgettable and on the short side, but it is still a good level. Number 13 may be my most controversial take of the video. It is Deep Dive from I Expect You to Die 1. Now, a lot of people see this as the best mission, top 3 at least. I just do not see it. I replayed it. It's fine, but the puzzles are quite hard and they're not the most creative. It is an extremely stressful mission, and I do not mind stressful missions, but this mission kind of takes it a bit too far, and the mission is kind of short. Once you figure out how to start the engine, it's just a quick self-destruct sequence and then you're home free. Now, the environment of the mission is really cool. Being stuck at the bottom of the ocean in a failed escape pod, super intense, and the claustrophobic feeling is it's just great. And also the mission is very nostalgic, probably the most nostalgic of I Expect You to Die 1, and again, this mission is great. This is where we start getting into the really, really good missions. This mission is probably a 7 out of 10, but it just doesn't compare to some of the big hitters later on the list. Coming in at number 12 is Squeaky Clean from I Expect You to Die 1, the mission that takes place right before Deep Dive, and if you've ever wanted to feel like a professional chemist, this is the level for you. Now, I do like the chemistry mechanic, but it does get kind of repetitive because similar to Kaboom, a lot of the puzzles revolve around mixing chemicals together. Apart from that though, this is a really good mission. It is quite long, probably the longest in the original game. There are so many threats: the laser grid, the sniper, the nuke at the end, which is one of the best sequences in I Expect You to Die, but again, it can get a bit repetitive because of the chemicals, and the mission is rather forgettable overall because it doesn't really add too much to the plot of I Expect You to Die 1. At number 11 is Eavesdrop from the third game. Now this is where the missions go from good to great. This is a stealth-inspired Mission Impossible style mission where you rappel from a chair to get to the desk and try to open it to the fabricator's desk. Now this mission can get a bit repetitive because it just relies on opening the desk, finding a lock that fits the shape, rinse and repeat. There's a bit of stuff to shake it up in the guard scene, but other than that it can get a bit repetitive, but the puzzles in this level are absolutely great. Opening the mask up, not electrocuting yourself, all really good puzzles. But I do kind of wish that the rappelling chair was kept through the level. Instead of just being at the desk, I wish you could go up to the second story, maybe even the third story, and interact with elements from different stories while moving your chair between levels. I feel like that would have added some much needed variety to this level, but other than that, it is a really, really good mission, and this is where we get to the really, really good missions. Kicking off the top 10, we have the original Friendly Skies from the first game. Now this is the first mission you ever play, so it really sets the tone for what you should expect through the rest of the game, through the rest of the series really, and it does a really good job. It is quite simple, yes, and it is quite short, but it does a really good job at nailing the feeling of impending doom. Now the gas outside the car makes the car a good safe space, a good control point, and you don't want to lower the windows for too long, and you definitely do not want to break the windows. Now, this level, you are guaranteed to die in it, especially on your first playthrough, and that's what really sets up the name, I Expect You to Die. It shows the concept of the game being all its unique deaths, and it gets you close to that when you have to open the window to grab the screwdriver and then close the window quickly. It brings you close to death in a way that no other mission really does. On top of that, all the puzzles in this mission, while simple, are really great. Again, it is the first mission, so you don't want it to be too hard, and the feeling of completion is really cool. Driving off the plane at the end, hearing parachute deployed, it's all really well done. Just a really overall solid first mission of the game. Sitting comfortably at number 9 is House Call for I Expect You to Die 3, another opening mission. This mission does a really good job establishing the tone of the third game. It is quite tonally different from the first two games, but that's not entirely a bad thing. It sets up Roxanne as the main villain, it introduces the robots, there's a bit of an element of surprise when the robot reveals that he's actually evil and you have to take him down, and that final fight was really cool. The bit where you get poisoned and you have to make the antidote frantically reminds me of the poison gas in the first game, really recreating that element of like impending doom. This level is just overall basically Friendly Skies, but just better. It doesn't waste time trying to introduce you to the game mechanics, because at this point you already know the game mechanics. No one's hopping into I Expect You to Die 3 completely blind, they've already played the first two games. So this is a really good continuation of I Expect You to Die 2. It kind of explains how Agent Phoenix kind of survived that blast in the opening sequence, and then you go into this level feeling pumped, and the level does not disappoint. At number 8, we have Stage Fright. I swear it was not intentional to put all three openers back to back to back, but Stage Fright is probably the best of the three openers. Sets up the tone even better than the first game and the third game. It shows that this game is inspired by late 60s, early 70s stage play. It shows the villain John Juniper, and he's not revealed to be the villain yet, but it is kind of obvious, especially as you go into Jet Set. But this mission is really, really good. The ending sequence with the assassins is action-packed, and everything before that is really good. Puzzles designed really well, so it has a bit of the elements of puzzles, it has a bit of the elements of action, it has all the elements you need for an I Expect You to Die mission to be really good. This mission is just overall really great, 8 out of 10. At number 7, we have First Class from the first game, and it's also the first DLC for I Expect You to Die 1. Now, this came out at a really interesting time, because at the time, Winter Break was the final mission of I Expect You to Die 1, and we all thought it was kind of over, so having this DLC come out was really great, and the mission does not disappoint. This mission is kind of disconnected from the story, and I will take points away from that, but the puzzles are great, the action sequence at the end is great, it's probably the most ambitious mission at the time, being on the train, the scenery is great, the view is great, everything about this level is just great. There's nothing bad to say about this level. It is a really good time, and it is probably the mission I replay the most, honestly. Because it is so disconnected from the story, you don't need to play previous missions to understand the story of this level. Agent is going on vacation, and you just have to survive. It's as simple as that. Great mission, great premise, just great level overall. At number 6, barely missing the top 5, is Hot Water from the third game. Now, I had a really tough time figuring out number 6 and number 5, but eventually I ended up putting Hot Water in number 6 because it is a really good mission. They did the squid battle that they said they were going to do in I Expect You to Die 1. They said that was their idea, but they were held back by budget. They finally got enough budget to do a squid battle, and it did not disappoint. This squid battle was amazing. Everything leading up to the squid battle was... Some of the puzzles, one could argue, were a bit on the uncreative side, but apart from that, this mission is absolutely incredible. A spectacle for the eyes, a feast for the eyes, one could say, and again, barely missing out on the top 5 because I had such a hard time deciding which should be number 6 and which should be number 5. Now we're getting into the top 5. In the number 5 slot, I have Blind Spot. You know it's true because it rhymes. And this mission, I had such a hard time deciding between whether Hot Water or Blind Spot was better. And for those keen-eyed viewers out there, yes, this is the final level of I Expect You to Die 3. I feel like Blind Spot is the best mission out of the third game. Now, why do I think this? It's really fun. Driving your car, it's the first time you've really had free movement, quote-unquote, in I Expect You to Die. And it is great. Driving under the truck, using your grappling hook to attack the truck, the end with the bot like clinging onto your screen and falling into your car, it's all so incredibly done. It's such a visually appealing level, and it's the first time that Shell Games has really stepped outside of that like player must stay still movement set, and there are a lot of good motion sickness options if you do feel motion sick. This was definitely a very experimental level, and I think it works in their favor. Just a really masterfully created level. It's so good. At number 4, we have Jet Set. This is the most advertised level out of I Expect You to Die 2, and you can see why. This mission is just all around perfect. It really encapsulates what you should be doing when you set out to make an I Expect You to Die mission. John Juniper, really funny villain. He kind of takes over the handler at this point in the game. The final missile sequence is really awesome when you break the window and you shoot the flare and it diverts the missile. This might be my most replayed mission of all time behind First Class because it is just so fun to replay it every single time. It never gets boring. You always discover something new about the level. There's just so many secrets, all the food possibilities with the food cart. Just a really well done level, and the puzzles here are at their best. I think all the puzzles here are really well done, and the missile disarm sequence where you have to like press the buttons and follow the handler's instruction, it's very reminiscent of Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, which is a really good game, by the way. Just such a fun mission, and I have nothing but good things to say about all these missions from now on. Really great mission. We are now entering the top 3. These are missions that are practically perfect and are practically flawless. They are the best of the best. They'll die like the rest. Number 3, the bronze medal goes to Winter Break. This is the best mission in I Expect You to Die 1, Argue with the Wall. Just such a great mission, and technically it's the finale because this is the final non-DLC level for the first game, and it really sends off the first game in such a brilliant way. The environment, incredible. The puzzles, incredible. Everything is just so flawlessly done. And the stakes are really high. The anti-gravity machine, dodging the lasers, the helicopter picking you up at the very end, flying through the air. It's so well done. There's just nothing bad I can say about this mission. And again, it is the peak of I Expect You to Die 1. It's really nostalgic as well as a level. Just absolutely incredible. No words. At the number 2 slot, the silver medal goes to Party Crasher. Now, this used to be my number 1, and for very good reason. The puzzles in this level, again, I keep saying it, immaculate, no flaws. The environment, again, keep saying it, no flaws. This is where the missions are just absolutely flawless. And that opening where you have to send up like the wine and the bottles, have you ever tried sending him up random objects? If you haven't, you should do it now. Send him a shoe, send him some food, send him the wrong wine. They did so many funny interactions, like Will Wheaton in the voice booth. There was like 50 dialogue options. There's so many dialogue options for every single item that you can send up, and it's so funny to go through them all. Genuinely, try it if you haven't. This mission is just absolute masterclass, brilliantly done. Assassinating the guards at the end by diverting the gas and then making sure it's empty so that they can't kill you at the end. It's just so brilliant. It's never frustrating, and it's always a good time whenever I replay this level. Absolutely incredible. And at number 1, undeniably the best mission in the entire series, the pinnacle of I Expect You to Die, and I don't think it will ever be matched in any future I Expect You to Die games, I'm sorry to say, Rising Phoenix from I Expect You to Die 2. This was in my number 2 in the original video, it's in my number 1 now. Just, there's no words for this level. It's so incredibly done. Going up the elevator, saving the world leaders, all the puzzles are incredible, and the stakes are so high. This is probably the highest the stakes have ever been in an I Expect You to Die game. The missile about to go off, the final fight with John Juniper, rest in peace, my favourite villain in the entire series, probably my favourite villain in all of media ever, or at least top 3. The final puzzle, you gotta divert the power from the elevator to the briefcase to power it, just absolutely incredible. This mission is just a work of art, just a work of art. Everyone who worked on this mission, hats off to you. It's just such a good mission, and this mission, whenever I replayed it, always puts a smile on my face, always puts a tear in my eye. That ending, it's just so heart-wrenching, such a good cliffhanger, and such a good setup for I Expect You to Die 3. Just clap, no words. Incredible mission. And that is the list. Looking back on my original video, I am surprised. My list changed in a lot of ways, also stayed the same in a lot of ways. Seat of Power in particular being so much lower on this list than it was on my original is very surprising. The number 1, number 2 spot was switched out in this video. In my original video, Party Crashes was my favorite and Rising Phoenix was my second favorite, but I think I've come around on Rising Phoenix as the best level in the entire series. And overall, I think the list held up pretty well, apart from a couple points. But yeah, I think this list is a lot more accurate to my modern thoughts, and obviously it includes the third game as well. Speaking of which, we are now going to rank every single game in the I Expect You to Die series. Let's get the obvious out of the way. Home Sweet Home is the least favorable game, and again, no faults to Home Sweet Home. Again, it's great at what it does, but it's obvious that it was never meant to compete with the mainstream games, which is why it kind of feels unfair racing it against the other games. But oh well. Anyway, here's what we've actually been waiting for. The 3 main games rated from worst to best. Starting off, this was really tricky. These 2 games at the bottom, I could switch them around all day, but I'm gonna say the worst game of the series, and not the worst, sorry, the least bad, is I Expect You to Die 3. And this game is not weak. It is a really good game. I bought it with no hesitation, and I wasn't disappointed. This game was really good, but I just don't think it quite matches up with the other 2 games on this list. Speaking of which, number 2, I Expect You to Die 1. I don't know if it's nostalgia talking, but even when I replay this game, all the missions are really good. Maybe apart from Seat of Power and Death Engine, but those are the final 2 missions. Everything before that, absolutely great. Missions 1 to 5, absolutely great. Apart from those, there's no real low point in the series. Each mission is a heavy hitter, each mission is a bombshell, and that's why I think I Expect You to Die 1 is just a bit better than I Expect You to Die 3. It has higher highs, but it also has lower lows, admittedly, but those lower lows are later on in the game, so I can excuse it a bit more. And finally, at number 1, the undisputed GOAT, I Expect You to Die 2. I don't know if they'll ever top this. This is an incredible game. The best $30 I've ever spent was spent on this game. This game is incredible in every sense. There is no bad mission apart from Safe and Sound. Safe and Sound is a pretty inexcusable filler mission, but every other mission is genuinely so incredible. It is insane how many highs I hit with this game. The highs are much higher than the first game and the third game, and the lows are kind of capped, excluding Safe and Sound. So this game is it's just incredible. It's just incredible. It's probably the best VR game ever made. And I am not afraid to say that. That's just a spoken fact, the best VR game ever made. Hats off to Shell Games. Whoever was working on I Expect You to Die 2 absolutely cooked. Incredible game overall. And that concludes my ranking video. Now, if Shell Games ever releases I Expect You to Die 4, will I ever come back and rate all the missions? Probably. I'll probably do another ranking. Maybe my thoughts will change. Maybe Rising Phoenix will be 20th place, but I highly doubt that. Come on now. Be realistic. But yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with the rankings at the moment, but I will revisit this video when the 4th game is released, and we'll do our thoughts. We'll update our thoughts then. And yeah, let's hope that I Expect You to Die 4 is a hit. Shell Games, keep taking your time. I know it's been a while since the 3rd game. Don't let anyone rush you, okay? Ignore all the comments saying, where's I Expect You to Die 4? Lock in Shell Games, because this 4th game, I feel like it has the potential to be the best in the series. Maybe even better than I Expect You to Die 2. But again, we'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a damn good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.